I did decide I wanted to do my painting on wood, and I feel like acrylic works so well on this as well as watercolour, and I wanted to work on wood because I feel like I'm creating this these abstract paintings, and I feel like the juxtaposition with the wood would be very interesting, and I just think it adds a new dimension. And also I was really inspired by Cézanne and the Impressionist artist at the National Gallery who used to bring wood to their landscapes they were painting, paint on the wood and take them home. And I found this really interesting, and the way they were creating these quite abstracted scenes but with onto wood, and using this element of nature as the surface for the painting itself. And I thought there's something really special about that, and I think the way it captures the paint and how you can carve into it and make relief and detail, I just think is really special, and this is where I want to go. So to inform this, I chose to look at some artists who work onto wood. So not these, but Terry Hayes works onto wood panels, which I'm thinking of doing a composite painting so I can transport it more easily like the Impressionists. And he does, funnily enough, does these depictions of these aerial perspectives of land on fire, and as you can see the land here and the water, and it just reminds me of the maps that I've been exploring. And I also looked at Peter Dicus, who looks at maps as well as working on wood. So this is on wood panel, and he is inspired by outsider art too. And I really enjoyed the separation of colour through lines and mark making, which reminded me a lot of Impressionism, and the way he contradicts the curved lines of the maps with the straight painting technique. And I really like how he uses these panels, squares, like a canvas, but actually the way they're presented as one is very abstracted and goes beyond the bounds of a canvas. And also I really enjoy the colourways. I just think they're very informed, and I think both each on their own could be a painting, but when put together they work well as together, but they could all be separate, which I really enjoy, and I think this is something to look for in the future. So as a development of my project, I decided to look into maps, and this was a suggestion made by my teachers and tutors. So I decided to look at the places that are special to me. So I included Isle of Wight, West Wittering, Portsmouth, and then this is from an AA road map, and then did Bournemouth and Poole, and then I did a Hampstead map and London map where I live. And I created this piece. We explored collages and how this could relate to our projects. So took my London and Hampstead map and took some watercolour and paint and coloured in and went over the lines and did all these lines, and then I cut this out using positive and negative space like Georgia Russell, and mounted this onto black card, and I think this is very effective collage. I think it's simple yet very effective, and actually these cutouts, all of these, I used to create this collage. So that was the painting I cut, and this is what it created. So I'm exploring with positive and negative space. And I took my wood painting and the lines I could see in the maps that matched up with the lines that I saw in this painting. And I segmented the scene, and added the lines of the roads and painted onto these as well. And I mounted it on the map of London and Hampstead. And I really enjoy this. I think the segmented landscape has actually helped me to take this more into a contemporary abstracted viewpoint, and has actually developed and made my project much stronger and interesting. I don't think it represents calm or recharge anymore, but I do think it's an expression of my life and where I live. And I just think how the map and the lines of the map equalises the lines in the drawing, and how I could find these connections between the two is very special. And I think it's very it's just like that connection between the map of where you live and the scene of where you live and the landscapes. And I just think that's very intriguing. I also created, I was inspired by a book I read, this map book that Jessie, my tutor, gave me, and she had used cut out circles of on tracing paper, like this clear frosted paper, and put this over the map of where she lived or places. So I took this idea and actually cut out the blocks where the road segmented these shapes. And I was kind of inspired by Picasso in this way, because obviously the colours are very Picasso, primary colours, and then the shape work is so intriguing. And I thought I could use these shapes for patterns or anything really. And then I followed these lines on a tracing on a light box, and cut these out with knife. And I just love this study, and I feel like if it was on a larger scale and I was a bit more intricate with it, it would be even more effective. And I love how you can still see all the names of the streets and the lines through the frosted paper.